back kind of to this mess. And let's put that, well, my cookie is not gray. This is a hard color to mix. You can tell I'm kind of all over the place here. There we go. A little trial and error, we got it. Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do something quite a bit different. We're going to be doing a still life on a very small canvas. It should be fun. Now, if you're not into this sort of thing, don't worry, because I've got a landscape planned for next week, so we'll get right back to landscape painting. But for now, let's jump into the video. All right, let's start off here with just a little bit of black and blue and a little touch of our red. Yeah, that's decent right there. I want to paint around this glass, just leaving a little border so that I don't lose my sketch. That would be a very good idea, right? We don't want to be losing that sketch. My Mr. bottle, I'm going to be keeping my paint wet. So I got a lot of stuff to explain here. First off, we've got a custom size canvas that I did because I wasn't happy with the size. So I made my own size. There you go. That's being picky. I've got it mounted to just an old scrap canvas that I painted with black acrylic paint. Just I thought it would make a good backdrop, and otherwise I couldn't actually connect it to my easel. So this is my easel adapter. And it's also, it makes the background not too busy for you, otherwise you'd be staring at lights and wires and whatnot. There. And did I mention we're painting with acrylic? We're painting with acrylic. There, that looks really decent. I didn't really want a big 18 by 24 version of, you know, like this little still life. This is more just kind of a practice, a study painting, they call them. Just kind of more for me and for you guys, and to see if our landscape techniques can in any way be used to paint something out of the ordinary. And last thing we need to talk about here as I work on my background is, where did the inspiration come for this? This is just a scene that I actually set up and took pictures of and drew onto the canvas. It didn't come from like an advertising or anything like that. This is set up in my kitchen, which is kind of fun. That's really cool. This is going to be, instead of the traditional, you look at a still life painting, it's always a wine glass, some grapes, fruit, cheese, whatever. This is milk and cookies, just because I wanted to put kind of my own spin on the very classic subject. So there you go. It kind of gives you an idea how to put your own spin on stuff. Definitely be thinking about ways you can do that. Unlike some of my still life stuff, I'm going to make this a little bit more impressionistic in the background. See that? A little more choppy. I like that. That's really pretty. All right, we'll play around with this for a few minutes. And like I said, I'm reserving the sketch, not painting the background over it. Nice. And then same goes inside this glass. Just leave me a little border right around there. Now I've mixed up a quick color for the cookies, not something I thought I'd be saying. And here, let's see, let's just start. Is that a good color? I was thinking maybe it's a little vibrant. There, that looks pretty decent. Maybe what we can do is, since I do think it's a little vibrant, we might just tone it down with a little black. Black takes the life and color out of any mix. You just throw it in and it grays it up, obviously. That really goes without saying. But you know, sometimes you just don't think to use it for that. If you need to just pull a little of your color out, just add a little black to it. It's probably the reason why some people don't use black paint at all. But I like it because it's so good for darks and whatnot. It's something I would not want to paint without. I have the little chocolate. These are not chocolate chips. These are like the chocolate chunks. I have those sort of sketched in. Now I'm thinking about not even worrying about them, because I think painting around them is a headache. So I'm not going to do it. It's too small to paint around them. So I'm going to just, there we go. Just paint the whole cookie in like that. Good enough. All right, I think that works. Is it perfect? Maybe not, but I think it's a decent start. Now on the other side, we'll do the same. Just like that. Perfect. And then lighten it up and gray it up a bit. Back kind of to this mess. And let's put that, well, my cookie is not gray. This is a hard color to mix. You can tell I'm kind of all over the place here. There we go. A little trial and error. We got it. This is really, hey, let me tell you, if you're not into this sort of thing, try it anyways. And you'll learn a lot about color mixing and values and stuff like that when you're painting something that you're not familiar with. Hey, also, right now, be a great time to show the paintings that you guys did of my last one. Everybody did a really good job. This was that live stream video we did a few days ago. It was really fun and exciting. It's fun to see your spin on the painting too. I think you guys are doing a really good job. Remember, you can tag me with the hashtag on the screen with your version of this milk and cookie painting, and I will do my best to stick it in the next video. Now I'm going to put a little highlight on this side. Now I'm working from a combination of two photos. One was done in the actual sunlight of the window. So that's the one with the light, but that one didn't have any cookies. The one with the cookies, I just was using a flashlight as my light source, which is pretty lazy, but that's what I did. I'm not at all using that to determine highlights. It's mostly there just to kind of figure out how the cookies should look. So you're probably looking at those pictures right now. We're gonna do our best. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but I want to get it similar, because otherwise, what I'm trying to say is if I don't put the highlights where I see them in the picture, I don't know where else to put them. It's not a tree where I know where to put the highlights. I have no idea where to put the highlights if it's not for this photo. So I'm going to be using that photo as much as I can to figure out where these highlights go. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. There. I'm sure if you paint glass enough, you would just get a feel for it. But let me tell you, I don't have a feel for it. There. I'm noticing a lot of these like sparkly bits right along the rim of the glass. So basically, I'm just looking at that photo and placing the light where I think it should go. And if it all goes right, it'll look like a glass when we're done. I think that the light's the easy part. I believe that the hard part's going to be the shadows. We will see. It's pretty good though. So far, I'm happy. Now I'm going to drop in just kind of a shadow here in this milk area with number 6. Number 6 flat brush. The only color, here's my paint. Get a little bit more, I almost have like a purpley tone going here. Let's see. That looks pretty. That looks pretty blue. I'm gonna change that just slightly. I do want a kind of a purple, but it's mostly white. There we go. The only color, what I was gonna say, the only color we're not going to be painting this milk today is white. It's gonna be some sort of a variation the entire way through. It will look better that way. This is, of course, the shadow side. For reference, I'm using the glass that was taken in front of the window. Oh, the window is a beautiful way to light anything, really, that you want to take a picture of. That just get in front of the window. Looks so good. Looking around at that photo, I think it needs to be darker. So much darker. I don't know if we can really get away with going that much darker. I don't know if I can go the full darkness that I see in the photo or not without it looking weird. I guess if it doesn't look weird in the photo, it shouldn't look weird in the painting. We will see. There, this is going to be a lot of dry brush blending. I can tell already. There. Now, as you paint quickly, it's easy to accidentally change the shape. We're not interested in that. We don't want to be changing that shape any. So I'll just bounce kind of here into my warmer tones. You can see I took a break for a few minutes. My paint's dried. I had to put some more back out. Oops. Oh well. That's okay. Acrylics, they just don't stay wet on the palette for very long. They don't really let you get a minute break. There. A little of that warmth in there, honestly, is a good thing. So many colors. That's what's going to make this look interesting, is the color. We will certainly be highlighting just a nice little highlight on that side. Actually, with this kind of brownish color, honestly kind of a yellow ochre brown color, because who doesn't want yellow milk? I would love to stick this kind of a little more right in there. And then on this side as well, I'm noticing a little kind of a shadow. Indicate that right there, and then brighten this up. And this will just take a lot of playing around with to get it looking correct. So now it's time to actually drop in these little chocolate chips. Actually, that color's almost too dark, but I think there we go, touch them with our finger. That makes that work out. One nice thing about acrylic paints, you just rinse your hand underwater and And your hand's clean. That's pretty easy. So get in here and use that finger to blend. All right, look at this. Kind of like mountains, or rocks actually. I'll tell you what it is. It feels exactly like painting rocks. Oh, you're never gonna look at a cookie the same way again. There. All right, maybe there. I think we already mentioned this. These chocolate chunk cookies. They're definitely more interesting. That is random, and I think that randomness really works. That totally works. It's a little stark there. Another little... Okay, that's probably good. Let's get the other one in. I'm only using my photo loosely. This shows you how disorganized I am. I sketched this painting out and then photographed it on completely separate weeks. Yeah, oops. I completely forgot to take a photo of the thing that I was sketching. So when I was done sketching it, I said, okay, I got it, I put it away. So these are not even the same cookies. The cookies I had on the original day when I was drawing were way better. These cookies that I have in the picture are not nearly as interesting, but what are you gonna do? I'm trying to make it up from what I remember and also looking at the other photo. Now I'm gonna highlight these cookies. I'm going to do this in such a way, honestly, that reminds me just of rocks. I'm gonna do this like I would paint a rock or like a little cliff with these little jagged strokes. That's how you would paint in those details, because the cracks of the cookie remind me so much of that. And here's the thing. If you look at it really close, it doesn't look like much, but when you pull away, you see it all kind of, the blurry image come together. That's true in landscape painting too, but this is just not that big. Look, there's my hand. We're talking very small details, right? Very small canvas. So you don't need to go as crazy as you might think. Because once you just get back a little ways from it, you don't have to get back 6 feet, you get back 3 feet, and it looks better. It all kind of comes together that way. So, something to think about. You're going to need a lot of color. Sprinkle those colors in and around. The color is what makes it interesting, because the subject, not all that interesting, really. If nothing else, it's kind of fun. And like I said, we'll be getting back to landscapes, so I know this is not everybody's thing, and I completely understand, and that's okay. We'll be getting right back to the landscapes. So I've switched gears just a little bit. As you can see, I'm using a number 4 bristle brush to try to add some texture. Actually, what would actually look better. actually. Oh boy, you can tell. Barely keeping it together here. This is what happens when you do something that you're not super used to. Isn't that fun? Okay, what we did was we just allowed some of that light to kind of catch on there. And I think just because that'll make more sense. Actually. Boy, good thing we didn't invest much time in those chocolate chips. They're gone. Now I'm going to use a distinctly different color. Just something that's, this is just umber and white, but just something that's going to stand out against the warmth. See that? These chocolate chips need to be highlighted, but we need to be able to see that highlight ever so slightly. It's not crazy, but it's just enough to show it's there, and we didn't forget. Because let's face it, somebody will point it out if we don't do it. There. All right, that's nice. I think we can live with that. It's not too much, just enough to show some of that detail without losing the contrast to the cookie. I think that works. Always go back and play with it more later. But let's go ahead and just get a shadow. I don't want to go too intense with this shadow right now, but we can always bump it up a little. I've got my handy mister bottle to keep these paints dry, or wet, from drying, however you want to say that. There, see, that's more of a dark version of this background. That looks nice. Kind of using my picture as an example. I used my flashlight as a light source, which really didn't work. So these shadows are they're not perfect. I'm going to make them better here in the painting. It's okay to come back and straighten up that glass. I'm not worried at all about that. Just get the shadow in, the actual drop shadow there. All of a sudden, we're making a little progress. It's these last things you do that make the most impact. And that's true in any painting, really. Okay, kind of just feather that out. Good. Light stroke is the only way you're going to be able to do that feathering like you see me doing there. This is called dry brush blending. Oh, wait, oh, look at this. I like that. I'm gonna take this and feather out that edge of the cookie. I wasn't planning to do that, but that really works. You saw it. I just accidentally whacked it and it worked. Oh, that's pretty. Can we do that over here? Maybe just lose the bottom edge of that. Oh, yes. So we don't quite see it so much. It's more faded into the shadows. That works. Now, one of the last things I'm going to do here is using my other photo, the not as good photo. I see a couple of little highlights that I really enjoy in the glass itself, so I'm going to stick those in. Actually, that looks very similar. So hopefully this has actually been enlightening, you know, bouncing between different photos. You can do this in a landscape if you'd like. There. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't know if do I like that? I'll step back and decide whether or not I like that one. I do like that one, I think. One more spot right here. You won't really be able to see it because that milk is so light, but there it is right there. We gotta go right over this. See, this is important. We gotta go right past that transition. Otherwise it looks like a highlight in the actual milk. Nice. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Remember, we're going to be getting back to regular landscape painting next time, so no worries there. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing something a little different. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.